So you guys that have been following me know I've been struggling with my business, basically harassed by the elite since day one. And that's very different than being a victim of medical malpractice to such a gross extent. Like, okay, yeah, I understand these billionaires don't want competition and they're going to try to run me out of business and harass me in various ways. And I'm, in a way, taking them on to try to truly help.
Dude, Frank is so fucked. There's no helping him either. Like, he's just fucked. Good thing he's gay, so that he's not gonna have children.
People and provide them with high quality and affordable health products. That's way different than being a victim of such gross and obvious medical malpractice. Those are two very different things. So I became more and more shocked that none of these law firms would help me. And
no, my cat...
it's not that cut and dry, like, oh, he's trying to run a business. It's not, no, people don't really care about that type of stuff. Like, oh, yeah, it's obvious they're trying to put you out of business. But when someone literally does something physically to you, and it's so obvious that something wrong has been done, it was just very shocking to me that none of these law firms would help me. And the first thing the gang saw...
He wouldn't pay them. He didn't explicitly say this, but he was looking for a lawyer who would represent him for free. And I'm pretty sure Frank also has a reputation. There's been a number of lawyers who have dropped him as a client because he's like a crazy, insane, racist retard. So, and like, we know he probably stiffed some of these lawyers too and refused to pay them. So if he has a reputation, like, combined with him not wanting to pay the lawyer and it being something like, oh, if I win, you'll get 20% or something, yeah, no one's going to represent you.
Doctors say is, oh, the doctor didn't do anything wrong. He didn't commit malpractice. Malpractice is hard to prove. You signed a waiver. That's all complete nonsense. And if you look up the definition of medical malpractice, a monkey could prove that malpractice was committed. I'm half blind. I'm practically bedridden because...
He's not half blind. He has been driving a car. Please explain to me how he can drive a car when he's half blind.
Of the pain medication. I've had over 5 revision surgeries under anesthesia and 10 in total if we're including all general procedures. This is the easiest malpractice case that any law firm could ask for against a very wealthy doctor. But that's not how it works. Medical malpractice was 100% committed. And keep in mind, guys, this is all because the doctor doesn't want to pay for ruining my vision and face the rest of my life. He's just greedy, he wants more money. So the main thing to understand is that all of these doctors, lawyers, judges are in the club, and any outsiders are considered lower than slaves. They don't care about me or you, and just like a family member would compromise right versus wrong to protect each other, that's what these people are doing. But it's on a much higher level because of the secrecy, because of the oaths these people swear, and...
Yeah, he's genuinely going insane, and he thinks, like, the Illuminati, aka the Jews, are out to get him. He's talking about Jews, by the way.
Because of what's at stake, it's a totally different level. So, like, family member thing is like, it's almost like you robbed a bank with your buddies and you're keeping your mouth. It's above and beyond. The secrecy committed here is above and beyond that. And normally, the lawyers would pretend to help me. Normally, I go to the law firm, they take my money, they act like they're helping me. But because these people understand that I know what's going on and that they're going to try to screw me over, they didn't even try to pretend to do that. They didn't even try. And
with the the plastic surgeon lawsuit against Dr. Taban, Frank very heavily implied that he had no intention of paying any of these lawyers. He was trying to get them to do it for free, but they'd get a percentage of some sort of winning if he won the lawsuit. So he's lying about this, and his lawsuit with Paul Saladino that he lost by default judgment, he still needs legal representation for that case because they're going to have a jury trial to determine damages. He's not paying his lawyer. There were communications that ended up getting, submitted to the court between Paul and his lawyer. His lawyer admitted that he's not able to pay for legal fees. So his lawyer hasn't been paid. So this guy is talking about, oh, these lawyers won't even take my money. The lawyer that you're using for the fucking Paul Saladino case, you haven't even fucking paid them.
I don't think there's a point in naming them. As far as I know, they're all Freemasons. A lot of lawyers tend to be Jewish.
There we go. The Jews. Yes, Jasmine drinks soda and
Illuminati members. I can't speak for certain on the details of that, but the point is they are secretly organized against individuals who are not in those organizations with them. Yeah, they have basically sworn secret oaths that take precedent over any judicial process or anything that goes on. And I mean, if they really screw me over, the truth would be me filing a lawsuit against every single law firm in Los Angeles saying they colluded against me and refused to assist me because they're all in secret societies. And as crazy as that sounds to the average person, that's the pretty obvious truth. And the judge would just lie and dismiss the case. And that...
Yeah, he's just lying. He can't even afford to pay for the lawyer in the Paul Saladino case, and he's trying to get lawyers to work for him for free. Has nothing to do with them rejecting his money because they're part of a secret society.
That's actually what's happening with the Saladino case. I filed it.
I'm pretty sure after he lost this case via default judgment, Frank is restricted from ever mentioning Paul's name. So he may be taking a risk here, mentioning Paul, especially in this kind of manner, where he's accusing Paul of being part of some, secret society.
Fine, VG.
The new one, and I actually named, the lawyer that screwed me over. I named the secret societies, and I named... that was filed. I could talk about that in a separate video, but this would be a lot different because in that lawsuit, I'm just calling out the lawyer that specifically screwed me over. In this lawsuit, I couldn't even get one of them to represent me. And guys, this wasn't even for contingency work. That was not mentioned. That wasn't even part of the question yet. I asked these lawyers if they would represent me. They asked you to submit information. Every single law firm in Beverly Hills. And not one of them would take the case. Again, under the...
Yeah, because you wouldn't pay.
The assumption I was going to pay them, they all...
Yeah, he's lying. He's absolutely lying.
All refused to take the case. Clear medical malpractice.
So again, he couldn't pay his lawyer in the Paul Saladino case, and he made a video before talking about how he tried to get these lawyers to represent him for free. So he's just making this up and he's lying.
Practice against a very wealthy doctor, and no one wanted to help me. I called...
That's all fine, VG. I never said you should bait on console, you fucking autist. All I said was the game looked good enough on the console that I'm willing to play it on console and even prefer it as I have it on both PC and console. Frank sucks cock.
I think you're...
Called up all the top New York City law firms. They all said go to California. I called up every medical malpractice law firm I could find on Google. Even contacted the lawyers that had sued Dr. Taban in the past. There's maybe 1 or 2 dozen cases against him, and I found those lawyers' names. I reached out to them specifically. Not one of them wanted to help me. So it's pretty clear that since I'm not in the club, none of them are going to help me. And as far as I know, I don't really think any of those cases ended well for the plaintiffs that were trying to get compensated from Dr. Devon. I think those lawyers screwed those patients over after taking a brief look at those cases. But I don't have full access to the documents, so I can't speak 100% on that. And this is why I was so strong out the gate with exposing this doctor and trying to make as many people aware of the situation as possible, because that's all I can do. And any outsider can clearly see how these people are conspiring against me. You know, they literally got my entire TikTok social media taken down. And even if they did take my money and represent me, like, they're obviously going to screw me over. My mother was hospitalized for years after they botched her C-section. I mean, she literally had kidney failure, one of the worst outcomes ever. She had a...
Like, does Frank not realize people can just have health problems and not every procedure is going to go, like, well for everybody? That doesn't mean they're victims of medical malpractice. Like, everyone is going to respond differently to some kind of procedure. If your mother has a weak constitution and other health issues, and the C-section was necessary, she may end up having complications from the C-section due to, again, her weak constitution, other medical issues, but that procedure was necessary and it was performed well. It's just that because of the condition your mother was in, she ended up having some complications from the surgery. Like, it doesn't mean the doctors did something wrong and, like, did something so wrong that it would, you know, constitute medical malpractice.
Cardinal read her last rites. I mean, I have that video on my YouTube channel if you guys didn't see it. And my mother never saw a dime, yet she went through what about as close to death and torture as possible. And she did not see a dime because the lawyer that she hired was a Freemason or was in these secret societies, and so was the doctor that butchered her. Mm-hmm. And that's all that matters. That's the sole reason you should stay away from the medical system. If you aren't a secret society member, they will butcher you without consequences. And if they kill you, even better. It's even easier for them to cover it up. No one to fight back against them. And that's if the system even lets you put up a fight.
That is absolutely ridiculous. So he's claiming doctors have a bias with killing patients because nobody can sue. You realize most people have families that will sue, and if somebody dies as a result of medical malpractice, you're looking at way bigger, like, fines, issues, losing your medical license, having to pay massive amounts of money. Like, even medical malpractice insurance might not cover, you know, some of the damages if somebody dies. So, like, Frank's just an idiot.
Frank, what about all the animals that gave their lives for you? I am unimpressed.
Well, they didn't give their lives for Frank. Frank stole their lives away from them. So yeah, fuck Frank. Don't give a shit what happens to him or his family. Thanks for the donation, James.
And I mean, hopefully I'm not handing out flyers of my face for the rest of my life, but who knows where this is going to go. These people seem pretty stubborn.
CG, you've asked me...
even if I educate myself and do these legal filings and follow their protocol, their made-up court system and the rules that they've made up to screw outsiders, when you do start abiding by their court system and figuring things out, then they break the rules and they just do whatever they want. You know, the judge starts ignoring my filings, denying every motion I file, just dismisses everything. They do what they want. There's no legitimacy to this whatsoever. They're trying to pretend like there is, Like, but from the get-go, it's clear they're just trying to screw you over and they'll just do whatever they want. Even if there was any legitimacy whatsoever and they believe my motions, I could file an appeal and get it taken from Superior Court to the Court of Appeals, like they would even take the appeal seriously. I don't think it would ever go to the Supreme Court. And even if they did put me in front of a jury trial, it would be incredibly easy for the people that control the entire system to ensure that the entire jury is stocked with Freemason Illuminati shills. So either way you look at it, what chance do I really have? And that's why I feel like, based on my assumption of the scenario, the only deal I can make is, look, you pay me for what you did to my face, and I won't hand out flyers for the rest of my life. Like, I'm not doing anything illegal. That's my freedom of speech, and the truth would completely destroy his business. That's the unfortunate reality. So they control the court system. They created the court system. All the lawyers are in on it. They control the social media. And it's really obvious when these gang stalkers are telling me to take a break from social media, stop posting, let the court system handle it. Yeah, I'll let the system handle it, that where I couldn't even get a lawyer to represent me. Yeah. Let them screw me over in court for 2 years while this doctor butchers more people and I'm lying in bed half blind. Yeah.
BPC 157 does.
So, you.
That's a great idea. Take a break. That's literally the only thing I can do, is go on the street and hand out flyers to people, because they're censoring me on social media. That's my only option. And it might take years and years, and I might have to hand out flyers myself personally, but that's the only thing that's going to work. Even if I only handed out a few hundred flyers a day in Beverly Hills, after the course of a few...
Do you think Frank really believes the bullshit he says? The judge honestly is handling his derangement with grace. Just look at their ruling on Frank's motion to dismiss.
Presently, the instant action is being submitted to the Magistrate Judge C. McCarthy on the measure of damages following both defendants defaulting. Defendant's remedy is to move to vacate the default, which they failed to do. Instead, the individual defendant, Frank Tufano, submits a document delineated as a motion to dismiss, in which he attaches no affidavit in support of his motion. Additionally, the movant provides no legal basis which would warrant vacating the default. Accordingly, the motion to dismiss is denied without prejudice, and the clerk of court is kindly directed to terminate the motion, blah, blah, blah. Well, they deal with crazy idiots all the time, and these are people who need to act professionally, so yeah. I can guarantee you they have to deal with people like Frank Tufano on a nearly daily basis, so they're used to it. And, no, Frank doesn't believe half the bullshit he says. Some of it is genuine delusion. I do think he does believe there is some sort of secret society that's out to get him, but when he makes up some of these excuses, he knows it's a lie. So he knows it's a lie, like when he says, no lawyer would represent me even when I offered to pay him. He never offered to pay anybody. So he knows he's just lying. So some of this is just to make himself out to be a victim so he can get sympathy and make excuses, and it's just cope. But some of it is genuine delusion, but no, half the shit he says he knows he's lying. Thanks for the donation though, retard.
2 years? No one's ever going to that doctor, that's for sure. That's for sure. And who knows how many, if I had to guess, hundreds and hundreds of other poor people that he botched. Maybe if I had to seriously guess, I would bet there's between 10 and 20 people that were as bad as mine. And then maybe a few hundred people that were dissatisfied with the surgical results. And we can assume he's done thousands of surgeries at this point. So,
No, I'm not going to bother.
Picture, is it a super high margin of error? No, but at the end of the day, those people weren't compensated, and these doctors are wealthy enough to pay everyone off. So I happen to be the one guy that stood up for myself, and as a consequence now, now my business is suffering because I got taken off of TikTok. So either way, I'm going to hire someone to hand out flyers. You would think if the doctor has ruined my life enough that I'm willing to go outside and hand out flyers for the rest of my life, that they'd be smart enough to compensate me. Like, it's insane. Like, these other people that just move on with their lives, most of the time the botch isn't really that big of a deal. It's not that significant. That's why those people are able to move on. But in my case, my vision is still messed up. My eyes are still wonky. I'm looking at additional corrective surgeries. I don't know. I don't think suing every law firm in California, I don't know what you'd have to do. I don't know if you sue the Bar Association, sue the judges themselves. I don't know what you do. Because no one, as far as I know, no one's actually been able to figure it out. Like, people just get screwed over and move on and say, oh, the lawyers didn't want to help me, and they'll believe whatever the lawyer said. But I'm not sure that other people have figured out that these secret society members are colluding against them and to actually name them and sue them. I guess we'll find out what happens with the Saladino court case. Well, technically, I already tried it once. I filed that case like 5 or 6 months ago, and the judge dismissed it for failure to state a claim or something. And then I appealed it. It went to Court of Appeals. They didn't mail me the paperwork, and then they dismissed it because I didn't pay the court fee or something, so I had to refile it. It's a mess of paperwork to keep up with. And they have no intention of treating any pro se litigant fairly. It's the biggest joke.
He's not legally allowed to defend himself pro se in the Paul Saladino case because Paul Saladino is suing Frank's LLC. So you can't defend yourself pro se as an LLC. This is being explained to him. It was outlined in a court document. And again, this is just another thing that he's lying about. He's such an idiot.
Joke.
Let's see. Does he have any shorts? No new shorts. Well, Frank's cooked. They're going to have the jury trial in a while to determine damages. Paul's seeking $2.8 million in damages. And Frank may actually end up being on the hook for $2.8 million. They've got some of his tax statements, and he took in, I think, $5.4 million total in 2024. So he may in fact be on the hook for $2.8 million. That would be hilarious. I don't know what the fuck Frank is going to do when he owes $2.8 million to Paul. What's for dinner? I might make pasta.